I'd like to call to order the June 20th, 2022 Board of Education meeting. Could we all please stand and honor America with the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, as some of you might notice, Mr. Phil Auer is not here. He is homesick. Dr. Borchers is not here. He is on vacation. So you are blessed with the B team today. Mr. Lay is here, and I'm Laura McLean, Vice Chair. So please be patient. Okay, can I have approval of the agenda? Second. Okay, I have Ms. Webb made the motion and Ms. Sagel seconded. Let's please vote. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, next on our agenda is our special news and presentations. We're going to have our good news, and we'll start with Mr. Stevens.
Thank you. I will start with Willowbrook. Willowbrook hosted a Cinco de Mayo STEM night on Thursday, May 5th. Multiple partners from the community, including Y12, U.S. Women in Nuclear, the Oakridge Chapter, Children's Museum of Oakridge, Oakridge National Lab, the Oakridge High School Navy Junior ROTC Cyber Patriot Team, and Oakridge Stormwater Healthy Water Program, and the Oakridge Schools Coordinated Schools Health facilitated various STEM-related activities for the students to participate in with their families. Willowbrook Latino families prepared a fabulous meal for the volunteers to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Outstanding. One other item I have, Willowbrook IT coordinator, or ITC, Jenny Phillips, secured a $1,000 grant from UCOR to purchase Logitech's crayon stylus for the kindergarten and first graders. And that's my two pieces from Willowbrook. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Webb.
Continuing with Willowbrook, we have third grade teacher Miss Nave gave a writing prompt, "What are your hopes for the future career or job?" One of her students, Emily Lazada Cabrera, stated she wanted to be a lawyer that helps with immigration. Miss Nave reached out to local attorney who specializes in immigration, Mr. Michael Behan, and she was able to have Mr. Behan come to her class to talk about what it takes to become an attorney.
Okay, now Ms. Sagel.
From Robertsville Middle School, Robertsville TSA students will compete at the TSA National Competition in Dallas, Texas this month. TSA will compete in the following events: biotechnology, medical technology, forensics, CAD, structural engineering, tech bowl, off the grid, children's stories, problem solving, essays on technology, flight, and cybersecurity. TSA would like to thank the PTSA, Dr. Cross with Oakridge Schools, AB Prototype, Salsaritas, and parents who donated money that will help our students travel to the competition. Robertsville Middle School librarian Scott Smith will be featured in an upcoming issue of School Library Journal. The article is about the disability experience in children's literature. Mr. Smith is a member of the jury for the American Library Association's Schneider Family Book Award and is also working on a project for the American Library Association's Accessibility Assembly.
Okay, and also from Robertsville, Mr. John Spratlin was selected to receive the East Tennessee Historical Society Teaching Excellence Award. Members of the East Tennessee Historical Society celebrate the great work conducted by individuals and organizations across the region. The award ceremony was held June 7th in Knoxville. And that's just some of the good news happening in Oakridge schools, even though we're not in session. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. No, I'm sorry, we're going to move on to the public forum. The public forum is a time for the public to comment on topics that are not on the agenda. If anyone would like to speak, you can raise your hand and you'll be directed to come to the podium. You can sign your name and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The board may or may not respond. Do I have anyone who wants to speak tonight? Okay, you can come ahead.
My name is Erica Johnson. Do I need to sign or just print, or does it matter? Do I need to sign or print, or does it matter? Okay. So I sent an email to the board chair beginning probably the first or the last day of last month, asking to speak at the board meeting, and he said I would have 2 or 3 minutes to speak. And I asked if I could be on the agenda. I did not get a response. I asked in plenty of time, and I did not get a response. The reason why I wanted to speak to the board is my grandson, it's about cross-boundary. And my grandson and my granddaughter, they've been at Willowbrook for 4 years. My grandson's been there for 4 years. My granddaughter's been there for 3 years. And they're zoned for Linden, but they've been at Willowbrook because I used to live in that zone, and they stayed there. So I just want to make sure. We had a meeting on the 14th with Mr. Lay, Ms. Lauren Dean, and Dr. Henderson about cross-boundary. And I just want to ensure that the district is following the guidelines for ADA and IDEA because Braden has a learning disability. And I wanted to get on the agenda for the next board meeting to discuss in detail, because I can't do it in 3 minutes, about this cross-boundary for Braden and Brooklyn Sellers. So the reason why they're saying Braden needs to leave Willowbrook is denied cross-boundary is because of behavior. And the reason why they're saying Brooklyn should leave is because she's been tardy several times when she's been in school. And her reason for tardy is because she has separation issues from her mother. And Ms. Bruce knows that. And when she gets to school, they have to take her and put her with Mr. Dan, the counselor. And if she's with a school official, I don't consider that tardy. If she's with a school official, that's just like someone coming from a classroom going to a counselor. They're not considered absent or tardy or anything. That's just part of the school day. But I think Braden has grown to trust his teachers at Willowbrook. He has had issues with that. This is the first year I've seen progress with Braden and Miss Bloomer. Miss Bloomer is key. He's been with Miss Bloomer. She's done a tremendous job with him. Last year, he was going to 2nd grade last year. I requested him to be held back because he was at a kindergarten reading level going to 2nd grade. That is not going to work for me. This year, he's up to grade 1.9, and he's going to 3rd grade. I just don't want this transfer to hinder I don't think it's in the best interest of Braden to transfer him at this crucial point in his life right now. He trusts his teachers. He trusts everybody. He has a real good relationship with Miss Bloomer and his Miss Brown. And he loves Miss Lauren Dean as well. He loves her. He tells me that all the time. He loves Miss Lauren Dean. So I would like to, my request is so I can get on the agenda at the next board meeting so we can go into detail about this issue. I had a denial the first denial I received was in March. And I hadn't even submitted the application yet. And we went over this on the meeting on the 14th. They said a new policy came out came out on March 28th, which is 11 days after I was, the date on the signed, on the letter that was sent to me saying they were denied cross-boundary. It's just a lot of things, and I would like to go into detail with all the issues with the board. I understand there is no formal appeals process for cross-boundary. So I did what I thought I would do. I responded by email to the Director of Pupil Services when I received the letter, the denial letter, and I said, how can I appeal? And I was told, just send me an email. Well, the same people that denied it the first time are the same people that's appealing it. I don't think that's right. And there's no formal appeal process on how to do this anywhere. So I'm coming to the board.
Okay, thank you very much. Your time is up. I'm sure that we will have someone from administration reach out to you to talk to you. I'm not sure that airing all the details at a meeting is appropriate, especially when you're talking about children and learning disabilities. But someone will reach out to you, okay?
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
if someone could respond to the email that I sent it to the chairman.
Okay, I will talk to
If he
Mr.
could
Philauer.
respond to my
He
email.
is sick right now, so
Okay.
I'm sure that's why he didn't respond.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, all right. Public forum is over. Now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, let's move on to our first item is budget transfer number 5. Mr. Lay, do you have a recommendation?
It wasn't just me.
Nope.
I did that too.
Okay, I apologize for the delay, all right. I recommend approval of the fiscal year 22 budget transfer number 5.
Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. Okay, we're going to move on to, the motion passes unanimously. Now we're going to move on to budget transfer number 6. This is the first and second reading. Mr. Lay,
Yes, I recommend approval of the fiscal year 22 budget transfer number 6.
okay, you recommend approval. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Second?
Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Ms. Agel. Is there any discussion? Okay, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda is purchase of grades 2 through 4 devices. Mr. Lay.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend the approval of the purchase of 1,000 Lenovo 300 laptops for grades 2 through 4 for the price of $549,000 from Insight Public Sector.
Okay, we've heard the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Agel. Are there any discussions? I have one question. If we get these when will we get these 1,000 laptops? And will IT have time to do their magic so that they work when school starts?
At this time, we're hoping to be able to roll these out during fall break.
Oh, fall break. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Any more questions? All right. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next on the item is the purchase of middle and high school Lenovo student devices. Mr. Lay.
Yes, I recommend approval of the purchase of 45 Lenovo 11E laptops for middle and high school grades in the amount of $36,540.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Webb and a second by Mr. Stevens. Any discussion? Ms. Agel?
Just a comment that I had to price these recently myself, and the price that they are getting for them is extremely good.
Excellent. I'm sure Ms. Van Dyke will be happy about that. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. And when I say unanimously, that means everybody except Mr. Philauer, who isn't here. Okay, the next thing on their agenda is the annual copy paper bid and purchase. Mr. Lay.
I recommend for approval fiscal year 23 annual copy paper bid and purchase.
We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
A motion made by Ms. Agel, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is the addition of a 1.0 math teacher. Mr. Lay.
Yes, I recommend the addition of a 1.0 math teacher at Oakridge High School for the 2022-23 school year.
Okay, we've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion made by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Ms. Webb. Any questions? So this is one of our three contingent.
Yes, this is actually, when we finish our motions tonight, this will be one of our three, but tonight we will be using all three. But basically, when we were making the schedule, well, let me go back. The recommendation from numerous individuals has been to make Algebra 1 a year-long course. A lot of school systems are doing that. They're seeing success with that, and we feel like it's in the best interest of our students. So we just reached that decision late and decided to use a contingency position for that.
Okay. Any more questions? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the addition of a 1.0 school nurse. Mr. Lay.
I recommend approval of the addition of a 1.0 school nurse for the 2022-23 school year.
We hear the recommendation. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Okay, our motion passed. Next on our agenda is the addition of two 1.0 elementary classroom teachers. Mr. Lay.
Yes, I recommend approval of the addition of two 1.0 elementary classroom teachers for the 2022-23 school year.
You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion made by Ms. Agel, seconded by Ms. Webb. Any questions? Mr. Lay.
Okay, this would be the second and the third contingency position, which is a little bit concerning, but this is due to increased enrollment, and we're just really trying to make an effort not to displace students the first, second, or third week of school. And when we look at numbers, this is the direction to go. Once again, the only concern is beyond this would be a different decision.
Right, so we're adding a teacher at Willowbrook and a teacher at Linden with these two.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. I'm glad that we're planning ahead and being proactive instead of reactive. Okay, any more discussion? All right, you've heard the recommendation. Let's all please vote. Motion passes. Okay, next on the agenda is the addition of a .6 STEM teacher at Robertsville. Mr. Lay.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of the addition of a 0.6 STEM teacher at Robertsville.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion made by Ms. Agel, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Any questions? Okay, Mr. Lay.
Yes, Mr. Stevens asked me a question. This recommendation, the reason we have that is Mr. Livesey basically has been transferred to the high school full-time. He was teaching a .4 position at Robertsville Middle School. And by sending Mr. Livesey to the high school full-time, it's very difficult to find an effective teacher to fill a .4 position. So this is all about doing the right thing for the students at Robertsville Middle School and making it a 1.0 so that we can find an effective teacher to increase STEM instruction there.
Excellent. Any more questions or discussion? Okay, you hear the recommendation. Let's please vote. Motion passes. Next on our agenda is the McKinley-Vento Title IX subgrant. Mr. Lay.
Yes, I recommend approval of the McKinney-Vento Title IX subgrant funding for homeless children and youth in the amount of $15,000.
Okay, we've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Ms. Agel. Any discussion? Okay, you've heard the motion. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Next on our agenda is the Oakridge Schools Discipline Code of Conduct. Mr. Lay.
Yes, I recommend approval of the 2022-2023 Oakridge Schools Code of Conduct.
You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Webb, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Are there any questions or comments? Okay.
Just one comment on page 26, item 4. I believe the word should be sell instead of sale.
Thank you for that. And a lot of people have missed that, but we appreciate that. Okay.
I'm your resident grammar Nazi.
I did read over the book. It's long, over 50 pages, I believe.
It has become longer, and once again, I mean, from the start of school this past year, when we see areas that we need better communication, We start adding those to a folder. We get those to Dr. Henderson. She has also basically asked for feedback from all administrators, so it is getting rather lengthy to say the least, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're communicating correctly and giving parents the information they need. So.
Right, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, you've heard the recommendation. It's time to vote. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Next on our agenda is the ORHS facility alteration request. Mr. Lay.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of the Oakridge High School facility alteration request to add a memorial in honor of Mrs. Tracy Tilson.
You've heard the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Ms. Agel, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Any questions, comments? I had a question. Where is the memorial wall?
I am sorry, but I can't answer that question. Is there anyone in the audience that knows where the memorial wall is?
It is
Mr.
by the front entrance by the 9/11 memorial in that grassy area in front of that. That's where the memorial wall is. That'd be Oakridge High School sign on the original street there.
Okay, thank you. I will look for that next time I'm out there. We all learned something. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All right, please cast your vote. Motion passes. All right, next on items for information, we have the finance report. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Van Dyke? Okay, we'll move on to the attendance and enrollment reports. Are there any questions or comments? I'm hoping with COVID fading that our attendance will get better next year.
Yeah, yes, I mean, it's understandable that COVID has affected our attendance, but we're not going the direction we want to go. And of course, if you compare the 9th reporting period this year to last year, we have increased by 183 students. The good news, maybe not so good news, either way you look at it, we had a change of 7 from reporting period 8 to reporting period 9. It does appear that the increased enrollment is maybe perhaps slowing down, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the July 1st of August. So.
Yeah, we've had 3 school-age kids move into our neighborhood in the last couple of weeks, so.
Well, I know that pupil services is quite busy, and I know the school offices are busy. So once again, time will tell. So.
Yeah. Okay.
If I may,
Yes.
are we still looking at the bulk of that on the west end?
Yes, sir. We continue to see the largest increase with Willowbrook, Linden, and Robertsville. Well, not Robertsville. That's been the mystery of this. We're seeing it at Willowbrook and we're seeing it at Linden, but we're seeing more of an increase actually at Jefferson Middle School. So, we reached the conclusion that the families moving on the west end have younger children, which could be a fact. So once again, we'll see how that trend changes.
Okay, thank you. All right, under items for discussion, do we have any old business? Any new business? Communications. All of us will be attending the Summer Law Conference, some of us in Gatlinburg, some of us in Jackson, Tennessee.
I'll be in Jackson.
And we won't have a meeting in July, but we'll have 2 in August to make up for that. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Just a reminder that Oakridge High School football team is holding a free football camp tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday for first graders through 8th graders at Blankenship. Got to get that in. 9 to 12. 9 to 12.
9 to 12. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, anything else? Mr. Stevens.
Just a reminder, I think the request has already come in for the back-to-school kind of night at the Scarborough Community Center on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, of July.
Okay.
And yes, I'll add to that, we have already confirmed 100% participation from all schools. So we are set and ready to participate. So.
Fine, very good. Okay, thank you all for coming. I appreciate you coming out on this warm night. And we will adjourn our meeting.